Jalen, you were in the building for the melee.
Yes, man, that's crazy, man. I got a lot to say about this. Isaiah Stewart, LeBron James get tangled up on the free throw line. It was a crazy night in the D. Let's start the show.
He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
We'll be breaking down all the NFL games from yesterday, but we start the show in Detroit, where you were there, Mr. Rose, in the building for the Lakers-Pistons game, and we'll get to the game later, but this is the most important part of it. Jalen, what do you think about this back and forth?
So it was a really good performance by the Pistons up until this point. Jeremy Grant was playing terrific. Isaiah Stewart was giving great energy. And right there on the free throw line, what normally happens in the NBA is the shooting team's guy, in this case Isaiah Stewart, normally don't hustle to try to go after the rebound. Normally that guy just stand there and let the rebound happen. But his character is to go hard all of the time. LeBron being in his 19th year is like the old man at the park. And then somebody trying to pick you up 94 feet. You like, dog, get off me. And so because of that, that's how LeBron basically ends up hitting him with the arm or the forearm shiver or whatever. Was it done purposely? Absolutely. That's the only way you can avoid falling. If LeBron doesn't hit him, he falls. And you know how I feel about falling, Jacoby. And this is gonna feel foreign or look foreign to a lot of people who watch today's NBA because it was actually physical contact. Players get hit, players get elbowed. I understand that. But here's where Isaiah Stewart really got upset. When you start to see and taste your own blood.
Yep.
That's when it starts to feel different. It's like, yo, not only did it hit me in the face, but I'm bleeding. Oh no, I gotta go eye for an eye. And that's how it is in the city of Detroit, Jacoby. That's like, we don't, they say it in the BMF series, like, we don't come open-handed asking for handouts. We come with the closed fist. And if you get disrespected, you'll get knocked out. And Isaiah Stewart was like, I'm coming for revenge. And so he'll get disciplined. I believe LeBron to get disciplined, but I don't think LeBron should get suspended. And I think Isaiah, because like you always say, I don't necessarily judge people by what they intend to do, but off of what ends up happening. There is some restraint that goes on in that rage that you see him bursting through his teammates and security. I'm sitting right next to Hall of Famer Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton, who obviously were there when the Malice in the Palace took place. And so it didn't feel like that. It just seemed like somebody who was upset that they didn't get a chance to throw an elbow back. And so I believe he'll probably get suspended a game or something like that. I think LeBron will probably get fined, and then we'll keep it moving.
Well, Jalen, you made some good points, but let me just break down step by step. I understand why Isaiah Stewart was hustling after that rebound. When you're playing the Lakers, when you're the underdog, you have to get those hustle plays. That's who he is. I understand why he did that. I understand why LeBron reacted. LeBron wasn't ready for it. I don't think LeBron meant to punch him in the face the way that he did. But then I also understand, and this is the key part, when you see and taste your own blood, that's a different level of rage that you can't really control. You know, like when you start tasting your own blood in your mouth and it's covering your face, then that's when you see Isaiah Stewart react in this way. But one thing I disagree with you about is LeBron's gonna get suspended. LeBron is definitely going to get suspended. We haven't seen the ruling as we're taping this show right now, but I think if you punch someone in the face semi-intentionally, he did mean to make contact, and you bloody them to the point where they get enraged and come after you, that he was the one who first made a non-basketball play, which is why I think he will be suspended and disciplined.
You know how much I'm ride or die Detroit Pistons all day. I was there standing and rooting and cheering for my team. And you know I respect the game and the greatness that is LeBron James. And I'm just trying to tell everybody, elbows happen in basketball. People get hit in the face. I don't feel like he should get suspended, Jacoby. And I don't feel like Isaiah Stewart should get suspended more than 1 game. If LeBron doesn't react the way he does, look at him, he on 1 leg. Trust me, he in his 19th year, he was not trying to fall on that floor. And Isaiah Stewart was not trying to let an opportunity to get an offensive rebound go awry, because that's how he eats. And so we can look at it in retrospect and not overrate the totality of actually what took place. They engaged. It wasn't like they it wasn't like they squared up and LeBron punched them that way. It was a basketball motion. The arms were flailing. Grappling happens in basketball. I think LeBron should probably get a fine. Isaiah Stewart should get one game, and we keep it moving.
Well, there was a basketball game, and at the end of the basketball game, it got really interesting. You mentioned it was a good performance from the Pistons. Even in a loss, it was a bit of a moral victory. They had the game close at the end of the game, but then Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis happened.
Yeah, that was a problem. Yeah, and then we had to get back to the game. And I'm like, all right, Russ, what you got? No, LeBron, y'all about to take this L. What's up, AD? You know what I mean? Can you take over without LeBron? They shut me up, dog. Russ went right down the lane. And the thing is, I was standing there thinking, if I didn't say that, I don't believe he would have drove like that. Because I was literally right there in his left ear, and then he just took off. And then Anthony Davis late in the game was scoring, getting blocks. Blocked my guy, Cade. You seen Cade had a triple-double. You seen Jeremy Grant was out there balling, though. I think he had 36. We was doing work. It was a great game by the Pistons, but the Lakers' star power took over late.
Well, Jalen, I did not expect to start the show with the Lakers-Pistons game, but since you were there, that melee happened, we did.
LeBron James was ejected from the Los Angeles Lakers' win over the Pistons on Sunday for hitting Detroit big man Isaiah Stewart in the face, while jostling for rebounding position. It led to a stoppage in game action while Stewart, blood streaming down his face from a cut over his eye, had to be held back multiple times by Detroit personnel as he tried to confront LeBron. Look, I see this in boxing all the time. Guy swings his head. I'm not trying to headbutt you, but if your face happens to be there, that's your problem. The ball went through the net. Play over. LeBron swung an elbow, which is not where it was supposed to be, like by a guy's head, right? Missed the elbow and followed through like with a hammer fist, caught him and opened a cut over his eye. Of course he wanted to fight. What do you think's going to happen? I'm not saying LeBron is a dirty player. He's not. But that was a dirty play. Clean players can sometimes make dirty plays. David Jacoby. Finally, I got you on.
Here we are.
Your desk is a few desks away from mine. I can't wrangle you on the show somehow. What's your take?
I understand everyone's actions. I understand Isaiah Stewart probably trying a little too hard to get a rebound when an 80% free throw shooter is there. I understand LeBron James reacting, kind of being like, get off me. I don't think LeBron meant to hit him in the eye with a closed fist, but he did. And then once that blood streams down your face and you're tasting it, you're going to get enraged. And that's what happened. But I think there's going to be suspensions for both players in this case.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's not that, we want to separate things out. What's the intended consequence? What was the intention? But sometimes if you do something dirty and there's an unintended consequence, tough that you didn't intend for that to be the consequence. That's what happened. That's why you don't keep your elbow up here. That's why you don't follow through with a fist. It opened up. Of course he wants to fight when the blood is running down his face, right? Yes. Should Stewart be suspended?
Absolutely. I think Stewart will probably get 3 or 4 games. I think I bet LeBron gets 1 or 2. And I think that one thing, I've watched this tape over and over and over, just like the rest of the NBA fans have, is when LeBron hits him, you see him extend his arm in sort of like an apologetic manner. He's like, I meant to get your hands off me. I didn't mean to open up a wound on your eye that was 5 stitches later for him.
And Stewart's like, yeah, now I mean to get my hands on you.
Yeah, he broke the unwritten rule. You're supposed to let the old men hold you back from a fight.
Yeah, right.
He truly did want to fight. I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen in the NBA time and time again, where the 75-year-old referee is holding a 250-pound athlete and getting into a fight.
The strength that the ref suddenly had.
But this time, Isaiah Stewart was like, no, I really want to fight this man, and did his best.
I hear you. I think LeBron deserves a suspension. I don't think Stewart deserves a suspension.
Whoa!
That's right.
Whoa!
No, you get punched.
What?
You get blood streaming down your face. You're going to try and get the guy.
He tackled 3 of his coaching staff. He tried to beat up Cade Cunningham. He tried to run through the tunnel and get the Lakers. That's definitely a suspension.
He makes a good point. You make a good point, Jacoby. That's why I wanted you on. Thank you for popping by. Hopefully
here.
this is not a one-time thing. Stop ducking me.
Look forward to coming back. I'm expensive.
Coming up, a live report from Tampa Bay by Lisa Salters. We'll break down